Jalen Johnson's in. Oh, sorry.
He's in.
Yeah, and Chris Stapps.
Cool. All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Nick Marro here with Smitty, as always, uh, representing Occupy Fantasy, helping you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. We get 11 games on DK tonight, 12 over on FanDuel. Smitty, any quick words before we hit the ground running here? We got a lot to talk about, man. We got to rip through.
Yeah, massive slate with a ton of injury news. So if you're playing anyone from the first two games, just make sure you really like those plays.
Yeah, exactly. Shuts up, Ben. Don't have time for all the comments, guys. HB Card saying go fast, Nick. Yeah, we'll be going fast. Luke saying LeBron was building his own arena with all those bricks. Would have loved to talk about his 10-point streak and how he somehow ended up a hero in that game anyway, but we don't got time. But we do have time to talk about the Lakers. LeBron is going to be out tonight here on the road in Boston. No Marcus Smart, so no revenge narrative there. No Luka Doncic either, still on paternal leave. So yeah, Lakers missing two of their key contributors, obviously in LeBron and Luka. Projected starting lineup: Vincent, Reeves, Laravia, Rui, Aiton. Reeves is one of the best plays on the slate, about 50% owned on both sites. Even at the high price tag, I'm totally comfortable getting to him. This Boston team isn't as dominant as they had been in years past. I want to get to all of the Reeves here. I'll still have a bunch of him here tonight. Really, really one of the best plays. We talked about how maybe wait on some of the early games. I think he's tough to get away from. Laravia is another one, probably starting on the wing on FanDuel, where he's 3,900, very difficult to get away from. On DK at 4,500, I still like him a lot. Then as secondary options, I think Rui and Aiton stand out to me. But again, with so many other games on this slate, I'd probably come in under the field on them. Not that they're all that popular over on DK. But yeah, Reeves, Laravia kind of core plays for me. Smitty, how about you as far as the Lakers are concerned?
Yeah, getting to a massive amount of Reeves, even at the elevated price tag. You're basically getting Luca for a cheaper price. Not saying he is Luca, but he has the role of Luca, which is pretty important. So yeah, like Reeves, Rui and Laravia seem pretty hard to get away from on FanDuel. They're still pretty good on DraftKings, but FanDuel they're really appealing. Aiton is definitely worth a shot on FanDuel as well at his price, but that's pretty much it. I don't want to play any of the bench dudes.
Yeah, again, we could maybe chase some of that value if we needed it. It was a smaller slate. Good thing is it's not. Over on the Boston side of things, Jalen Brown was out last game. He is back tonight. Other than that, no real significant injury news. Brown himself looks okay. At the same time, you're kind of paying a premium to get to him there. Kata coming off a great game. Not the best matchup for him, not the worst. Don't mind mixing him into your center exposures. But White and Pritchard feel a little bit overpriced now that Brown's back in there. Walsh coming off like the game of his career. Not a ton of interest for me, but as a last piece in, I guess you could make a case. I'm having trouble getting to Jalen just because I am so heavy on Reeves. To play two 9K guys in that early game feels sketchy, to say the least. But other than that, not much for me for Boston. Smitty, how about you?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Basically, just Jalen Brown. I have one lineup with Pritchard, but I'd be fine not getting there. Don't mind Brown for his upside, but other than that, pretty much staying away.
Yep, right there with you, man. One other game we have at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Miami Heat taking on the Orlando Magic. Just pulling up Miami in the model here. A lot of injury news to go through. I hate how they do this. They list so many G Leaguers. Heroes out, though. That's obviously significant. Jaime is in, as is Jovic, Pele, Norman Powell, who did miss a game. He's back tonight. Andrew Wiggins also available here as well. But yeah, man, I think they're all kind of priced where they should be, if I'm being completely honest, with Powell coming back in. Even with Hero out, I just don't know that there's anything I want to rush to here because Orlando, in spite of the high total, does play pretty good defense. Miami does run relatively flat rotations. I can see making a case maybe for Wiggins or Powell. That's really it for me, though. Like, I don't think there's necessarily anything here I'm rushing to. Bam had a podcast recently where he's talking about how he's not chasing stats anymore. Spo really talked to him and he said, your job's to play defense. So even with Hero out, I don't know that usage is going to see a huge spike, not just based on that podcast. We have it in the data as well. But just nothing here from Miami I'm really rushing to. Again, getting too much exposure to these early games could handcuff us if we get some late breaking news. So not a lot of heat love for me. Smitty, how about you?
Yep, pretty much the same. Wiggins, Powell, Davion Mitchell are the only ones I'm getting like a tiny bit of exposure to, but nothing really worth mentioning. I think they're fine.
Yep, right there with you. We won't spend too much time on these teams that we don't need to. And luckily, no Nets on the slate today, so I can't talk for a half hour about them. Over in Orlando, though, Bonchero is available. Whoa, that's kind of big news. But yeah, this team's pretty much priced about where they should be. With Paulo coming back, you can make a case that guys like Franz, Suggs, Bain are a little bit overpriced. I mean, I really think they are now. The one guy I have any interest in here might be Wendell Carter Jr., but I really don't love the matchup. But with Paulo coming back, again, everyone's price is inflated. They've had him out for weeks, and now that he's suddenly in here, he's going to take away a lot of the upside for some of these other guys. So no Orlando for me tonight, Smitty. How about you?
Yep. Currently have exposure to zero Orlando players.
Yep. I mean, if we get word he's on no minutes limit on FanDuel 8K, he'd be somewhat interesting. I don't really think we're going to get that word, though. We have him for 26 minutes, so maybe just skip that one. Into the 7:30 window here. I'm going to go quick, guys. I will get to some questions in just a bit. Again, appreciate you being here. We got a lot of games to get through, though. We get the Hornets taking on the Raptors, 230.5 point total. Raptors are favored at home. No surprise there. Hornets, LaMelo finally had a good game. He is going to be probable. Ryan Kalkbrenner is questionable. Trey Mann doubtful. Brandon Miller's back. He is probable. Colin Sexton, after a terrible game, is going to be out. Is the minutes cap lifted on LaMelo? I think is the first question we have to answer, because if it is, he does seem somewhat appealing in tournaments. But at the same time, there's a lot of good guard plays to pay up for. If Kalkbrenner is out, Musa Diabate does become a pretty interesting option as a value center. With Kalkbrenner in, I don't really have interest in either of them. They've been splitting minutes for the most part, but definitely one of those pieces of news that we talked about we need to keep an eye on. So probably nothing for me from Charlotte unless we get word that Kalkbrenner is out, excuse me. But if he is, Diabate will look pretty good. Already popping is a decent value in the model. I do imagine that would come up in a big way. His score, his ownership, all that good stuff. So nothing for me for Charlotte for now. But if Kalkbrenner's out, Diabate is going to look pretty good. Smitty, how you feeling about the Hornets?
Yeah, pretty much the same. No like real core plays here, but you kind of play some in GPPs. Brandon Miller, kind of expect him to be around 30 minutes, which isn't bad at his price, but I think there's better plays.
Yep. Yep. And we do have LaMelo up to 31. He's been under 30. He played 36 last game. So I want to make note of that. Over on the Toronto side of things, Akbaji is out. Still no RJ Barrett. AJ Lawson's going to be out as well. Not that that is super significant. Just pulling them up here in the model. Jamal Shed getting a lot of love over on DK. He's been good off the bench, but at the same time, like, I don't know, such a big slate. I don't think there's a ton of upside in him. Even though he's been playing well, he's barely getting over 20 fantasy points. On a slate like this, I think you're going to need more than that to end up optimal or take down a tournament. With RJ out, you can make a case for Barnes. You can make a case for Quickly or Ingram. I think all three of them are fine. Ingram's price on FanDuel is the most appealing, but he's very popular over there. But other than that, not much for me. I mean, you could make the case for Podol as well. But again, there's better center plays on this slate, in my opinion, especially if he's only going to play the 28 minutes we have him projected for. Smitty, any love for Toronto for you here? Pretty good matchup for them, obviously, but at the same time, about price where they should be, I think.
Yeah, not really. I don't mind mixing these guys in tournaments like a Barnes, quickly Ingram, but no standouts to me. So pretty much just avoiding them.
Awesome. Let's keep it going. Get a couple more games under our belt here before we take questions. We got another game here at 7:30. Most of the games tonight are at 7:30. We got the Denver Nuggets taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Denver favorites on the road, 238.5 point total. Relatively tight spread. Still no Christian Brown or Aaron Gordon. Spencer Jones, off of a terrible dud of a game, is questionable here. Julian Strother is going to still be out here as well. Jamal Murray absolutely smashed last time out. I do think we could get to him here a little bit. Joker, if you can afford him, is fine. Whenever you get him sub 5 or 10%, even on a big slate, I think there's some merit to getting to him. It's just he's so damn expensive. We're going to need some other value to open up. Peyton Watson, Cameron Johnson, wide range of outcomes. I think they both have enough upside to justify them as tournament plays. Probably wouldn't want them in the same lineup, but yeah, I think Jokic, Murray are good tournament options. Watson, Johnson, fine, but nothing really I'm considering a core option, Smitty, tonight. How about you?
Pretty much the same there as well. Watson, Cam Johnson, I think are pretty good GPP plays. Jamal Murray is probably my favorite other play on FanDuel. I don't think he looks too bad, but no standouts.
Yep, right there with you. Did you mention right as we are going live that Johnson's in for Atlanta or
Yeah,
out?
Johnson and Porzingis are both in.
They're both in. Okay, interesting. So Looking at the injury report, they were questionable. They're both going to be in here. Trey Young's still out. Other than that, this team's pretty healthy. And again, when we get these teams healthy, they're usually priced about where they should be. Johnson's going to see a bit of a divot in his upside, for lack of a better word, with Porzingis in there. Porzingis at his price on DK looks okay. I don't like that he's center only though, so it's very difficult for me to get to him over there. Alexander Walker has been playing really well. Didn't look great against the Clippers, but he's been spiking some upside. But again, the upside we've been seeing from these Hawks has mostly come with Porzingis out. With Porzingis back in tonight, I think they're all kind of priced about where they should be. You can make a case for the starters. I don't think anything here is really a core player or a priority for me, though, Smitty. How about you when it comes to the Hawks?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think you could take shots on like a Alexander Walker, but they're getting Porzingis back, and all these dudes are priced up, so pretty much see it as an avoid.
Yep, right there with you. All right, no questions yet, so let's keep plugging along. Appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, we will get to questions if you have them, but we got to go rapid fire today because we got 12 games. Next game here, again, still in the 7:30 window. We have the Portland Trail Blazers taking on the Detroit Pistons. Just looking for starting lineups here. Portland, Donovan Clingan's questionable. That is significant. No Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, or obviously Damian Lillard. Blake Wesley is out, as is Matisse Thybulle. Chris Murray and Robert Williams are both questionable. This is one of those teams where we're waiting on some news. Denny no longer on the injury report. I think if you could afford him, he doesn't look bad here. Pretty decent total. This game should be somewhat competitive. Again, I think he's fine if you can get to him. Wouldn't be playing him over someone like Reeves, though, or maybe even Jalen Brown. But if you're playing 150, worth mixing him in. Jeremy Grant's still going to be starting here. I think he looks okay. The question, though, is in the front court. If Klingon is out and Williams is out, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe we see Duwop Reith slide into the starting lineup as a punt. Yang is out, so they're going to be really thin there if all these guys get ruled out. But I feel like Klingon has been questionable every day this week, and he ends up playing. So probably nothing here for me from Portland. Smitty, how about you? Before I throw it over, I guess Kamara at a middle kind of range price is someone you could use as a building block, but nothing special. Blazers for you, Smitty.
Yeah, don't mind Kamara. I do like Shaden Sharp a little bit. He's getting a little bit of ownership, but probably not as much as he should. It kind of seems like he's off the minutes cap. So even coming off the bench, I do have interest there. But other than that, no real interest.
Yeah, Sharp has been better since coming off the bench and back-to-back games with 30+% usage, so that's a pretty good shout. Don't mind that at all. Over on the Detroit side of things, Duncan Robinson and Marcus Sasser are questionable. Nothing else really significant though. So this is another team that's mostly healthy, mostly priced about where they should be. All that being said, Cade Cunningham is Cade Cunningham. He's having a tremendous season. I do like getting to some of him if I can. Jalen Duren, he's come a little bit down in terms of his upside lately. I still think I'm fine mixing him into my exposures, though. Nothing here really for me, Smitty, when it comes to Detroit. I just think they're about priced where they should be. Not that they're bad plays, but they're not really standing out to me. How about you?
Yep, pretty much the same. Getting to a little bit of Tobias Harris, weirdly enough, and then like you mentioned, Cade, good tournament play, so I don't mind either of them. Um, Duran's fine to mix in as well, but no standouts.
Yep, right there with you. Still in that 7:30 window, we got the Spurs here taking on the Cavs in Cleveland. Spurs, no Stephon Castle, no Harrison Ingram. Luke Cornett is out. That's significant because Wemby, I'll just say Wemby, he's still out here as well. Save a couple seconds. Olynyk projected to start at center here. And if he does, he's going to look like one of the best value plays on the slate. We were talking about this briefly before stream. There is a world where he comes off the bench, but right now, rating is one of the top value plays in the model. 50% owned on DK, where you can play two centers. And honestly, a little bit under owned if he starts on FanDuel because he does have power forward eligibility over there. So again, keep an eye on the lineup in this one. It's not a guarantee that he starts. We could maybe see them go small with Jeremy Sochan, who's also very popular here. If you go back to his rookie year, he had a lot of great games, pretty talented kid. There was a time where Popovich was trying to make him a point guard, similar to what Kid did to Flag this year. That experiment failed. But good defender. I think they do want to get him more minutes as this team kind of progresses. But for now, I don't love him coming off the bench. I will say if Olynyk starts, he's going to be really tough to get away from because we don't have a ton of great value on this slate right now. Fox, Vassell, I mean, they're fine. Harrison Barnes has had some big games lately. He's cheap, but very wide range of outcomes, low floor on him. him. Keldon Johnson, kind of a pivot there if you want to go there. But on a slate this big, I don't know that I like it. It's going to be a Linux for me if he starts Smitty. Other than that, not a ton of Spurs love. I guess if Sochan is the guy who starts instead, he'd be the pivot. But how you feeling about San Antonio?
Yeah, I like Olenek if he does start, like Sochan. Even coming off the bench, I think he's a pretty good value at power forward. Harrison Barnes just continues to do it, so don't mind getting to a little bit of him. Keldon Johnson, if this game, I like Keldon Johnson more if Mobley's out. I could see it playing kind of small where Keldon Johnson's out there a little bit more. Mainly just them four dudes. Fox can always do it, so I don't mind mixing him in. But overall, it's just Olenek, Sochan, Barnes, and Keldon Johnson.
Yep, pretty much on the same page. Definitely keep an eye on that lineup, though, guys. Got to really emphasize that point. Over on the Cleveland side of things, Jared Allen and Darius Garland are both out, as is Sam Merrill, Larry Nance, Tyrese Proctor, Max Struess. Big news, though, Evan Mobley is questionable. I believe he was downgraded, so we definitely have to keep an eye on this. If he's in, I think he's a half decent play at that 9K price on FanDuel, 8,600 over on DK. But if he's out, Donovan Mitchell is going to see even more usage than he's projected for here with no Darius Garland. He's going to look excellent, drawing a ton of ownership already as it is. I do think he's a good play. But I think Jalen Tyson is kind of getting overlooked, at least on DK, where he's still 5,800. He's had some huge games lately. And if we get Mobley out, I could see him over 20% usage again. That usage came down in a big way that last game, but I believe Garland was in there. So definitely keep an eye on Tyson if Mobley's out. I do think he's going to be someone you want to get to a little bit in tournaments. Hunter's going to be the more popular play. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Hunter. I just think Tyson has shown more of a ceiling lately. And maybe that's recency bias talking, but definitely a situation to keep an eye on. I think they both start here regardless of whether Mobley's in or out because we're probably going to see Mobley at the 5 if he's in with Allen unavailable. Other than that, it's a little bit tricky. Lonzo getting a ton of ownership. The minutes are always a question for him, but back on the 24th against Toronto, where he started, he played 34. So we do know that he could go over this 25 we have him projected for. If he starts, he's excellent guard value. I will like to get to a lot of him. But yeah, man, we kind of need the Mobley news before we really make firm stands. But for now, how you feeling about Cleveland?
Yep, pretty similar. I like Donovan Mitchell quite a bit. I think he's a pretty good play. And then Tomlin, I think, is interesting if Mobley's out. That's kind of how I'm building. So I think Tomlin, Tyson, both of them look pretty solid. Um, Dean Wade probably starts. Probably not really a play, but yeah, it's mainly them dudes. Tomlin, Tyson, Donovan Mitchell. Don't mind getting to like a little bit of CPJ or Hunter, but overall, it's mainly just Mitchell.
Yep. Yeah, Mitchell looks outstanding as a pay up at guard. There's not a ton of pay ups we love on tonight's slate, so I could see that ownership steaming up, especially if Mobley is out. Another game here in the 7:30 window. We have the Jazz taking on the Knicks. I think this is the widest spread or one of them on the slate. 242.5 point total, though. Starting on the Utah side of things, no Walker Kessler. Nurk is questionable. He did miss last game. We did see Kyle Filipowski slide into the starting lineup and start at the 5. This is a back-to-back for Utah. They played the Nets last night. It was a pretty competitive game, so there is some concern there. And again, very wide spread. But if this team's fully healthy, I guess you can make a case for Georgia Ori. They always have upside. I guess Filipowski will be the one I keep circled because of Nurkic is out, and he starts at center again. He's underpriced. I know there's people out there who want Oscar Tshiebwe to be a thing. There was a rumor he was in the starter jersey warming up yesterday. I got DNP'd, so maybe tonight on the back-to-back we do see him get some minutes. But on a slate this big, unless he's starting, that's going to be a no for me. Smitty, how do you feel about Utah here? It's a really tough spot for them.
Yeah, not a whole lot of interest unless we do get Nurkic out. In that case, I'll have some interest in Filipowski. And then Laurie and Keontae are always in play, but I don't see either as a priority.
Yep, not going to argue with that at all. Over on the Knicks side of things, OG, who's been out for a long time, is questionable. I don't know why they bring him back tonight. They really don't need him here against Utah on a back-to-back, in my opinion. Other than that, nothing really significant in terms of injuries. They do have Mitchell Robinson back in the lineup. Projected to come off the bench, but that's if OG plays, I guess. So keep an eye on that. I mean, Hart fine. Again, if OG's back, these guys do feel a little bit overpriced. Carl Anthony Towns' best games this year have come with Mitchell Robinson unavailable. And again, very, very widespread. Like you could make a case for Brunson or Towns. I definitely see one of them going over 50 fantasy points. But with the widespread here and just this team getting a little bit healthier, I don't think I could prioritize anything from the Knicks, Smitty. How about you?
Yep, same here. Getting to a little bit of Bridges. That's pretty much it. Um, just a body coming back. I don't really see a need to go here when they're all full price.
Yeah, we got a question from Luke here I want to bring up. Do you think we'll see Thomas Bryant if Mobley sits? I mean, I'm pulling up his game log right now. He did play 13 minutes against Portland. I believe that was after Mobley got hurt. If he starts, great fantasy point per minute producer. So, again, even more so than usual, keep you an eye on the starting lineups. It's interesting. We're already waiting to see if Olynyk starts at center for the Spurs. And if Olynyk doesn't and Bryant does, I mean, there's your pivot, right? But how do you feel about Thomas Bryant if Mobley's out? Would he have to start for you to want to get exposure?
Yeah, he would have to start. Wouldn't mind getting to a little bit. He's still a center, so it's a pretty valuable position, and he's not very good. And this game could play pretty small, so there's kind of a lot of negatives to it too.
Yep, yep. I see the other comments in here, guys. I'll try to touch on those when we get to those games. Again, I gotta kind of speed through here tonight with 12 games on this slate, but hey, we're here to help you. So keep the questions coming. I'll definitely get to them as I can.
Yeah.
Moving into the 8 o'clock window now. We're through that big chunk of games at 7:30. First one here, we got the Pacers taking on the Chicago Bulls. Pacers are underdogs on the road here, 237.5 point total in Chicago. No Tyrese Halliburton, Quentin Jackson, Aaron Naismith, Ben Shepherd, or Obi Toppin. Nothing else too significant as far as injuries go for the Pacers. Jay Huff projected to start at center. His price really hasn't moved. I'm fine getting to him here against Vucevic. I think he has upside coming off a bad game against Denver, but it is what it is. I mean, Denver can kind of do that to people. Siakam's price has come down a little bit. I'm fine getting to him in tournaments. I mean, Nemhard looks decent at his price. Matherin as well. I would rather play Nemhard than Matherin. I think he has a much higher floor. Then on DK, TJ McConnell, just 4,700. Tough to get to on FanDuel where he's 56, but on DK, I do think he's a pretty appealing guard value. I do prefer Ball if he starts for Cleveland, but if you're looking for a pivot, that might be your guy right there. Just keep an eye on the ownership because it does seem like it's steaming. Um, yeah, Smitty, I mean, Indy's been tough. It's Rick Carlisle. He likes to shake up the rotations night to night, but how do you feel about the Pacers here in Chicago? Pretty decent matchup.
Yeah, I feel like this game should be pretty good for fantasy, so I don't mind getting to some Pacers. Uh, Jarace Walker is the one I'm getting to the most, followed by TJ McConnell. I think both of them are pretty good. With Ben Shepherd out, Jarace's role should be pretty secure. The Furphy kind of scares me a little bit, but either way, Walker, McConnell, pretty much any of the starters, I'm pretty fine getting to.
Yep. Makes sense, man. And yeah, good shout on Walker. I missed him. He should probably start here tonight at the 3, so just keep an eye on that lineup as well. Then in Chicago, Zach Collins, who's been out for a long time, is questionable. Ayo is questionable. Trey Jones is doubtful. Kevin Herter is out. Isaac Okoro is doubtful. Jalen Smith is doubtful. Dalen Terry is probable. Kobe White is questionable. And Patrick Williams is probable. So instead of ruling guys in or out, they're either doubtful or probable here. Super annoying when it comes to breaking this down for fantasy. If Kobe White's back in, going to cut in to the upside of a Giddy. But if White's in and Ao's out, I do think he's going to be under owned as a tournament play. I would like to get to a little bit of him. Decent spot for Vooch here. Obviously, a ton of good centers on this slate. But yeah, if everyone's in who I just said was questionable, I don't think there's any priorities necessarily. White would probably be the first for me. But yeah, I think you can make a case again for any of the starters. Just a situation where we're going to have to kind of wait and see until we have all this news. Smitty, how would you break down the Bulls to this point?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I think it's really tough right now. As it stands right now, if like all the or questionables are in, not really getting to a whole lot. I do think Giddy's a pretty good play either way, but yeah, kind of have to wait and see.
Yep. We did just get word that Donovan Clean is out for the Blazers and Robert Williams is available. So keep an eye on that. If Williams starts, He kind of plays limited minutes, but he's going to be pretty appealing as center value, maybe a pivot off Olynyk if we need it. But again, we'll wait and see on that lineup. We got the Clippers here taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Another game at 8 o'clock for the Clippers. No Bradley Beal, Bogdanovich, or Derek Jones. Chris Paul is no longer with the team, and Jordan Miller is questionable. Shouts out to whoever said Harden was going to play well in Atlanta last time. He did, and again, I like to bring up the strip club narrative, but maybe he was showing off for those Magic City girls. Who really knows? But Harden looks okay here. But the one Clipper I'm actually interested in is Kawhi. The price has come up on him, but he's been consistently pushing 50 fantasy points to the point that at 8K on DK, I do think he's a really solid option in the mid range. If you're not looking to go stars and scrubs, you don't like all the chalky value, Kawhi is a pretty solid building block. It's a good spot here for Zoo. I think he's fine as well. And then again, Harden, pretty boomer bust lately, but the ceiling is definitely good enough to justify playing him in tournaments. Those are the three I have interest in. I mean, Dunn is usually an okay play as like a last piece in, but on a slate this big, I just don't see myself getting there. Smitty, how do you feel about the Clippers here taking on Memphis in Memphis?
Yeah, for me, it's basically Harden or Kawhi. I think both of them look pretty solid, pretty good matchup, and Harden is a pretty good pivot to like a Donovan Mitchell or one of these other guards, even Austin Reeves. But I mean, you could certainly play them together. But yeah, I think Harden makes for a pretty good GPP play.
Yep. Definitely can't argue with that. Over on the Memphis side of things, Brandon Clark and Gigi Jackson are both out, as is Ty Jerome, John Morant, Scottie Pippen, and Javon Small. So yeah, man, this team has been tricky to get right lately. I mean, we've seen some big games out of Jaren Jackson. Usually he's in foul trouble though. Vince Williams looks decent as a guard play, but kind of priced about where he should be. 5,900 on FanDuel. You can play him at shooting guard, a little bit more appealing over there. The one guy I do have interest in is going to be Zach Edey. Not consistently getting over 30 minutes, but he has been crushing. I mean, four straight games now, 15 plus rebounds. Not the best matchup here against Zubac, but I don't mind it, honestly. And I do think Edie is under-owned at his price. Highest OF index play on this team by a pretty wide margin. The other guy I do want to quickly highlight is Jalen Wells. I just think he's a bit too cheap. For the minutes he's been seeing. Not that he has a ton of upside, but as like a last piece in, if you're looking to get a little bit different, I think he's a pretty good option to mix in over some of the chalkier plays in that range. So some Edie for me, and a little bit of Wells, not much else though from Memphis. Smitty, how about you?
Yep, pretty much feel the same. I think Edie's a pretty good tournament play, and then if you're playing like the night slate or something, he's even better with the more small slate. But either way, it's basically just Edie for me.
Okay, cool. Let's keep plugging away then. Another game here we have between Philadelphia and Milwaukee. Starting on the Philadelphia side of things, we have no MB tonight. Jared McCain is in and available. Still no Kelly Oubre or Trendon Watford. Just trying to find the lineups here. Yeah, Maxi's been excellent. Obviously, guards against the Bucks has kind of been a thing this season. I do think if you could find the salary to get to him, he is dramatically underowned. Paul George is in and available, kind of playing limited minutes for the most part. Not someone I'm really prioritizing. McCain, the price has come up on him to the point where I don't love it now. I do think you can mix him in high risk contests and just kind of hope he gets there off the scoring. But really, other than Maxi, I don't think there's anything I'm rushing to for Philly. Smitty, how about you?
Yeah, currently not getting to anyone on Philly. Wouldn't mind if I got to a little bit of Maxi, but overall, just see them as an avoid.
Yep. Team we maybe get a little bit more of are these Bucks on the other side because Giannis, he is out tonight, as is his brother Alex and Torian Prince. Kevin Porter Jr., I think the most popular play on both sites. He's been playing really well since returning from injury. Again, I've said it before, but I think Ryan Rollins' success kind of lit a fire under him. And now we're seeing the best version of Kevin Porter we've seen in years. So Porter to me is good chalk. I like him a lot here. You could pivot to Rollins, but I do prefer Porter. I think you could play them both on FanDuel. But where Rollins is more than 1K more expensive on DK, he's just very difficult to get to. Keep an eye on this lineup. We did see Bobby Portis start a couple times last week with Giannis out. He did go for 32 fantasy points once Giannis got injured that last game against Detroit in 30 minutes. So Portis to me is getting overlooked. And I know we had a few questions on Jericho Sims. If he starts, he's okay. It's just I don't really necessarily trust him or want to get to him. Shouts out to Chuck. I know he had a big takedown, or he came top 10 in one of his big contests with AJ Green and Ben Price. You look at the game logs for Green, man. I had not been really getting to him much at all, but he has been shooting the lights out. 4+3s made in 5 straight games. I mean, he's been excellent for them as a spacer. I don't mind AJ Green at 1% owned. I do think he's pretty appealing at that price. Kevin Porter Jr. definitely good chalk in my opinion. And Portis risky if he starts. I do like him a lot. Definitely keep an eye on the lineup though. But those are the $3 for me, Smitty. How about you? You get into a lot of Rollins, and in general, just how do you feel about Milwaukee here? Obviously, no Giannis creates a lot of upside for some of these guys.
Yep, lots of upside, and it's a pretty good matchup going against Philly. I like KPJ a lot on both sides. Both sides. Rollins I prefer on FanDuel. DraftKings I'm slightly over the field, but I think both of them are really good on FanDuel. I'm gonna have a ton of KPJ everywhere, and then yeah, they could kind of go a few different routes between Portis, Kuzma, or they could start Sims. The only one I'll really have interest in is Portis if he starts. Otherwise, I'm not really playing anybody else besides KPJ and Rollins.
Yep. Are you getting to any Green?
Currently not, but I wouldn't mind getting a few percent.
Yeah, I feel like this is the type of play that like I finally play after he goes 6, 7x for a week and then he sucks. So maybe proceed with caution on that. But if he stays 1% owned, I do think he's a pretty decent tournament play. Another game in the 8 o'clock window here. We got the Suns taking on the Rockets. Rockets pretty big favorites because Devin Booker is out tonight for the Suns, as is Jalen Green. Isaiah Livers is questionable. Not that is very significant. Looking at Phoenix, I mean, Dylan Brooks going to take more shots than usual. Colin Gillespie, if this game stays close, starting at point guard, probably a really good play. I don't mind Gillespie. I am a little bit concerned about the blowout, not going to lie, but at his price, with no Booker, he's definitely someone you could get to and feel pretty good about, especially if this game stays close. Grayson Allen, kind of a tale of two sites. 7K for DK is kind of egregious. On FanDuel, though, where he's only 5,800, I think he's fine. Tricky spot here, man, obviously, with no Booker. I don't know that I can trust anything entirely. I guess it would be Gillespie, and then probably Brooks right behind him, but I don't know. Can this game stay close without Booker? Maybe, maybe not. Smitty, how do you feel about Phoenix?
Yeah, I like Gillespie a lot as a player, but this isn't really the matchup I'm dying to play him. On a huge slate, and he's going against Amon Thompson. Don't really seem like a good combo. Dylan Brooks is fine for me. Like I have a few percent of him. I'll have a few percent of Gillespie, but overall, not like super excited about anybody on the Suns.
Yeah, Brooks is probably going to take a million shots. So 2% on for him looks pretty good. Definitely viable in tournaments. The top OF index play ahead of Gillespie, who's drawing decent ownership. So keep that in mind. Over on the Houston side of things, Tari Eason, Dorian Finney-Smith are both out. Excuse me. Some news here we're waiting on though. Sengun is questionable. If Sengun's out, I think we could see either Steven Adams or Clint Capella start. Probably would be Steven Adams. Has been historically. I think he's a pretty good value at center if that is going to be the case. Other than that, it gets tricky. We saw Reed Shepard just move back to the bench. I don't know. I just don't really think I need to get to anything from Houston. If Sengun's out, though, Adams would become pretty appealing as a value play at center. Just keep an eye on this because it is a fluid situation. Smitty, how do you feel about Houston right now?
Yeah, I'm actually building for Sengun out with the late Q tag, so I'm getting to a ton of Steven Adams at 4K. That's kind of why it's hard for me to play a lot of other centers. But I think Adams looks good. It's a pretty good bump to KD, Jabari. Don't mind getting to them. I have KD more than anyone right now, other than Adams, and then like Almond's rebounding chances go up, so I like Almond. And then if you want to get real crazy, like even Clint Capella is probably in play.
Yeah, Capella has been seeing a few more minutes lately. But yeah, obviously with Sengun out, that number could go up. Jabari Smith, 5,800 both sites, looks half decent here as well. But again, with Reed Shepard moving back to the bench, I don't know that I'm going to get to him much until his price comes down. I did see we just had a question about him, so
Oh,
wanted to touch on that quickly.
Sengun
One
was
more
already
game
ruled
here.
out.
Who?
Sengun actually got ruled out like 3 minutes ago.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so we're probably going to see Adams start. He looks great at center. We have a lot of value at center today. I think it's going to be a two center night over on DK on FanDuel. We're going to have to make some choices. Maybe we rank those guys when we go through the dummy build. Before we do that, though, we have, I think, just one more game here. Making pretty good time today. I'm pretty proud of us, Smitty. We got the Dallas Mavericks taking on the OKC Thunder. Dallas is playing really well, but they are pretty heavy underdogs here on the road, obviously, against OKC, one of the best teams in basketball. Pretty low total, too, relatively speaking, 229.5 points. Starting on Dallas, Cooper's available. I don't even know why he's on the injury report. Gafford, Kyrie, Lively, PJ Washington, all out, as is Dante Exum. I'm going to pull them up here quickly. So Nemhard has been outstanding. This is a guy in a 10-day contract. Over on FanDuel, 5,900, kind of tough to get to though. And again, I mentioned this last time, he went off, but Kid has these guards on such a short leash. We saw Williams going off for a week. You make one mistake as a point guard, and J Kid's going to bench you for the other guys here. So as much as I do like Nemhard, proceed with some caution. And I said this last time when he went off, but yeah, there is a floor there. Cooper Flag looks okay, especially with PJ Washington out. He's pushing 8K now on FanDuel, deservedly so, but not a ton of meat on the bone in terms of upside. Anthony Davis on FanDuel, 10-8. If he was on the DK slate or you're playing the DK night slate, I think he looks really good there. But 10-8, a little bit prohibitive, especially in a difficult matchup. Not much here for me for Dallas Smitty. I mean, I just wish these guys were a little bit cheaper. Honestly, if you're playing the night slate on DK, I think they look better. But as far as main slates go, not much Mavericks love for me tonight. How about you?
Yep, pretty similar. Really, nobody. Yeah, like you mentioned, Nimhard would probably be the only one, him or Najee, but they're just kind of priced correctly, so don't really have anyone I really like.
Yep. Over on the OKC side of things, Brooks B is probable. Carlson is available. Caruso, Dort, Hartenstein all out. Isaiah Joe is questionable. Topic Sorber out, and Young Blood is probable. Up from the G League. SGA. I mean, this team's always blowing teams out. I mean, he's okay if you can find the salary for him. I'm obviously fine getting there. Can't call him a priority, but similar to Jokic, when he's this low owned, does make a pretty decent tournament play. The good Jalen Williams, the one with the E, is back. We have him for 33 minutes here, about price where he should be, as is Chet. Again, no Hartenstein, but I don't know that the bump is going to be huge, again, because Jalen's minutes are climbing. AJ Mitchell, I guess the guy who's kind of hybrid, like he's in the rotation, could also play in a blowout. Don't mind getting to a little bit of him, but seeing him at 15% owned on FanDuel feels a little bit inflated, in my opinion. Could take a couple shots on guys like Wallace Wiggins, maybe Isaiah Joe, but none of them are priorities really for me, Smitty. Any love from or for the Thunder from you here?
Yeah, pretty much feel the same. You could always play SGA, and then AJ Mitchell's kind of in play, I would say, on FanDuel. Don't mind getting to a little bit of him, but on a big slate, it feels kind of thin, honestly.
Yep. I'm just going to rip through some news here, guys, and I will get to questions. Treyman is out. Kalkbrenner is in, so no Diabate. Brandon Miller is going to be available. LaMelo Ball is available. Bulls announced minutes limits, which is kind of funny. Kobe White is going to be capped at 24. Zach Collins capped at 20. So maybe don't need to play them. No Trey Jones or Jalen Smith, though, and we already talked through this news, so I guess we don't need to keep digging there. Um, yeah, let's take a look at chat here. I'm going to refresh the model because I think it matters. We got these center values opening up. We got Robert Williams. We got Steven Adams now. So I want to take a look on that. No news on Mobley yet. Unicorn definitely keeping an eye on that. This is going to be Anthony Black for me, Jose. I think he's been more consistent. I know both these guys are coming off the bench. Shepard or Black for you, Smitty, if you had to pick one?
Probably Black, but I'd probably rebuild.
Yep. Greg, you're asking for a core for like a turbo slate. This is a main slate show. I will say you definitely want those Lakers in that first game, though, if that's what you're referring to. What else we got here? Adams starting for Sengun. Shouts out to whoever's running the Occupy channel. That's awesome. Love to see that. Matherin or KPJ? KPJ for sure for me, Smitty. How about you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's an easy call. And then shaping up like a KD nuke. Could be, man, for sure. So keep that in mind. And shouts out, who was it here with the Harden stuff? We were kind of going back and forth about his Atlanta game. Henry Sandspurt. So shouts out to you, man. Got
I
to give you
just
your flowers there.
I just
Yeah.
put two and two together that KD's going against the Suns.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, if it was in Phoenix, I think there's more like revenge there. But uh, yeah, I mean, he could still want to get it. All right, let's take a look here, guys. We got adjusting the value. Adams is the top DK value play right now. This could maybe adjust slightly. Usually, when the news first breaks, these numbers could be slightly inflated, so keep an eye on it. But he is now well ahead of Olynyk as the top center value on the slate, so keep that in mind. I mean, Olynyk 50% ownership, Adams around 7. Those numbers are going to kind of condense, but definitely a situation to keep an eye on. Jabari Smith looks great. KD, Shepard, all of Houston's up there. So again, I think those numbers will kind of neutralize a little bit. Over on FanDuel, same stuff. Steven Adams looks great. Not quite owned yet, but we will keep an eye on this situation. Definitely fluid. So, Smitty, let's start with the dummy. Do we just start with Steven Adams?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. And again, if Olynyk is starting at center, maybe you just play both. Let's go ahead and get the Bucks that we like in here, or the Buck we like in here. We definitely want Kevin Porter. Throw some names at me. LA, we got to go Reeves, I think.
Reeves. Yeah, Reeves, KPJ.
Probably Laravia. He's a little more expensive, but
Yeah, I still like him.
yeah.
Donovan Mitchell. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see if we can jam Mitchell. We might have to get a little creative. So let's go to Olynyk, assuming he does start at center. If he doesn't, and it's Sochan, we're probably going to have to pivot a bit. But if Olynyk is starting, we have him and Adams as value centers, and we still have 6,400 per player. I mean, we could go Jabari Smith here. We could go, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I like
You like
Jabari.
Jabari?
Like what is it? Power. Oh, never mind. It's power forward. I was gonna say I like Tyson, but he's shooting guard, small forward.
I mean, we could play Tyson at the other forward. The thing is, we have 7K, so
Yeah.
um, I mean, let's do this. Let's. I'm clicking the ad for some reason. What a nightmare. We got Tyson here. I mean, I love Laravia on FanDuel. The price is not the best on DK. I still think he's kind of a core play, but we could maybe upgrade that. I don't know. It doesn't look great. Let's go Tyson at small forward. And again, this is much better if Mobley's out.
Yeah.
And then forward, where are we at? Watson's okay. I mean, Portis if he starts, Filipowski if he starts. We got some options.
Yeah. There's options.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't matter that if we have a little extra salary here, maybe we have to upgrade Olynyk if he doesn't start. So, again, keep an eye on lineups over there. Over on FanDuel, Smitty, throw some names at me. Are we still going with Adams first? You think?
Let me see. Probably. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I'll go Adams. Olynyk actually has forward eligibility over here. We could go with him. I do think Laravia is a core play on FanDuel, pretty much a core play on DK as well, but 3,900 is wrong.
Yeah.
Porter Jr.
Rui's really cheap too.
Yeah, let's throw Rui in. I think he's the
4K.
third best Laker here tonight. Reeves, we haven't gotten in yet. He's a must. Man, we got 9,400 per. Who are your favorite payups? We can get to them.
Gosh. Let's see. It's kind of tough.
I kind of like
I like.
Maxi.
Yeah. I like Giddy. I like Maxi too. I like Donovan Mitchell.
Oh yeah, let's go Mitchell first. A power forward. KD, and
Yeah.
then we can play pretty much any point guard we want. We need a couple more hundred to get to
We
Cade
can
or
put
Maxi, but
Giddy.
we're close, guys. You
Yeah.
guys downgrade KD to like Kawhi to get to like Cade or something like that. I think that would be the move. Um, yeah, cool. Close enough.
Yeah.
You guys see where we're at, pretty much. Any other last minute questions here? Let me just check. We already answered this one. KPJ over Mathurin. Appreciate you being here, Jose, as always. I'm going to take one last look at news. Spitty, before we get out of here, any thoughts, any words before we
Uh,
feed the people?
just pay attention to starting lineups, and then I would basically only play the Lakers. That way, you kind of have like your whole lineup, especially if you're only playing one, to be able to kind of maneuver around to whatever starting lineups we get. And plus, we're still pending Mobley as well.
Yeah, that Mobley news is big. And yeah, that Heat Orlando game with Paulo back, there's not a ton there. And we did get word from Adoka. Adams will start Friday. He's ruled out for tomorrow, the second half of the back to back, but he said he wants him to play back to backs for the rest of the season moving forward. So maybe even if that game gets a little bit out of hand, he's playing a few extra minutes tonight. Even more reason to like Steven Adams. Not that we necessarily needed one. Any love for Keontae George for you, Smitty? I just don't love the matchup versus the Knicks. He does have upside, but that's probably a no for me.
Yeah, not really. I was getting to like 1%.
Yeah, if you're only playing a few lineups, Peter, probably not. If you're playing a bunch, you don't have to avoid them. Appreciate you all being here again. Like, subscribe, check out the links in the description below. We got the new multi-lineup builder. There is a video on the channel, kind of tutorial for that, so be sure to check that out. We have Jayhawk, I believe, going live in the Discord right now, taking you up until lock. And got to plug myself. I'm going to be back on this channel at 8 p.m. We got UFC 323 tomorrow. I'm going to talk you guys through my takes on every fight, best bets, DFS builds, all that good stuff, talking you through the model the same way we do on this show. So looking forward to that. But yeah, keep an eye on lineups, guys. Still a lot of news we're waiting on. All the more reason to get in that Discord. But have fun, good luck, and let's make some money.